Hello, my lovelies. Hope all's well with all of you lovely people. Well, there's a couple of things I wanted to share with you, and there have been things circulating around about certain fashion accessories, shall we say. And a little while back, I did a bit of digging, and I've come up with two, what I find interesting occurrences. Now, the planet Neptune is at the moment in the sign of Pisces, which it rules, at the 29th degree. So it's at the last degree of the sign. And in March next year, 2025, on the, 30th of March, 2025, Neptune enters Aries at 0 degrees. So I looked up the cycle of Neptune, and it's 165 years. So I thought, I wonder what happened 165 years ago. So here's a couple of things that occurred, which, when we know about cycles, things can repeat themselves. It might be in a slightly different format, but things do repeat. So the first thing was 165 years ago, the Carrington event, which occurred on the 1st of September, 1859. So the Carrington event was the most intense geomagnetic storm in recorded history, peaking on the 1st and 2nd of September, 1859, during solar cycle 10. It created strange auroral displays that were reported globally, and caused sparking and even fires in telegraph stations. So, of course, this was well before telephones and the gadgets that we have now. The geomagnetic storm was most likely the result of a CME, which is a coronal mass ejection from the sun, colliding with Earth's magnetosphere. So the geomagnetic storm was associated with a very bright solar flare on the 1st of September, 1859. It was observed and recorded independently by British astronomers Richard Carrington and Richard Hodgson, therefore having the event named after them. The first records of a solar flare, a geomagnetic storm of this magnitude occurring today, has the potential to cause widespread electrical disruptions, blackouts, and damage due to the extended cuts of the electrical power. So, the associated solar flare just before noon on the 1st of September, the English amateur astronomers Richard Carrington and Richard Hodgson independently recorded the earliest observations of a solar flare. Because of the flare observed in the Kew Observatory, a geomagnetic storm observed the following day. Carrington suspected a solar terrestrial connection. However, he was not sure whether the two phenomena were related, writing that one swallow does not make a summer. Worldwide reports of the effects of the geomagnetic storm of 1859 were compiled and published by American mathematician Elias Loomis. So the telegraph system, which is what they used to communicate with each other, because of this geomagnetically induced current from the field, the telegraph systems all over Europe and North America failed, in some cases giving their operators electric shocks. Telegraph pylons threw sparks. Some operators were able to continue to send and receive messages despite having disconnected their power supplies. The following conversation occurred between two operators of the American telegraph line between Boston, Massachusetts and Portland, Maine on the night of 2nd September 1859 and reported in the Boston Evening Traveler. The Boston operator: please cut off your battery power source entirely for 15 minutes. Portland operator: will do so, it is now disconnected. Boston: mine is disconnected and we are working with the auroral current. How do you receive my writing? Portland: better than with our batteries on. Current comes and goes gradually. Boston. My current is very strong at times, and we can work better without the batteries, as the aurora seems to neutralize and augment our batteries alternately, making current too strong at times for our relay magnets. Suppose we work without batteries while we are affected by this trouble. Portland, very well. Shall I go ahead with business? Boston, yes, go ahead. The conversation was carried on for around 2 hours using no battery power at all and working solely with the current induced by the aurora. The first time on record that more than a word or two was transmitted in such manner. So, as I said, cycles repeat themselves. So we may find that even prior to the 30th of March 2025, something similar to the Carrington event could possibly occur. Then I found another event that happened 165 years ago in England, and it was called the Great Stink. London was in the grip of a pollution crisis that would change the capital forever. In 1858, a sweltering summer had foul-smelling deeds. So Westminster Parliament in mid-August were due to, the House of Commons was due to rise and to go off on their hauls. So the speeches were shortened, oppositions withdrawn, bills discharged. The Chancellor of the Exchequer, who was then Benjamin Disraeli, couldn't tolerate the stench. The water level of the Thames dropped because of hot weather, so waste wasn't being washed away. Flushing toilets and larger population and their waste, there was a build-up of untreated human and animal waste. Tanneries, which worked along the banks of the river, deposited their waste into the Thames. So there was a build-up, as I said, of untreated human and animal waste from the tanneries. There was cholera and a cesspool, and it was decided to pour lime directly into the sewers. However, it was estimated that £6 million, London's largest infrastructure of the era, was put towards creating a new system of sewers, etc. So the third levy on all three old pence levy was set on all households for the next 40 years. So 82 miles of underground sewers. The construction began in 1859. So we have along the Thames the Victoria, the Chelsea, and the Albert embankments. And that is where these huge pumping stations were constructed to move all of the waste that came from the human and the animal waste that people threw out every single day. And I found it interesting that the members of Parliament left early for their summer holidays because they couldn't stand the stink. So putting two and two together of cycles repeating themselves, I get the sense that the Great Stink is already happening and has been since July of this 2024. And it's getting stronger and stronger, the stench. And it's not just from stuff going into the river. It is to do with the powers that think they be and the running of the country and all of those responsible for all of these strange goings on. So if you'd like to comment, that would be lovely, and we could have a heated discussion. So there you are, my lovelies. There's just a little bit of info for you. Hope you find it is interesting, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.